Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. I'm Cody Johnson with news from around the Columbia Basin for Wednesday, November 28th. Tonight we hear what supporters of the Moses Lake Library achieved at last night's City Council meeting and learn what scents are most likely to make us head to the cash register. We'll tell you about a big grant the Warden School District is using to help their students grow crops, and share how local law enforcement officers help bring down a heroin trafficking operation between Moses Lake and Seattle. In sports, we have the latest news on the realignments going on in college football and basketball. Our spotlight story tonight takes us beyond the tractors, trucks, and other internal combustion machines we're so familiar with around the Columbia Basin. We'll head to Australia to witness a steam-powered revival. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. First up tonight, Grant County law enforcement officers uncover a heroin trafficking ring reportedly moving narcotics between Moses Lake and the Seattle area. According to police officials, investigators with the Moses Lake Police and the Grant County Interagency Narcotics Enforcement Team joined Western Washington Police in an investigation spanning several months. Officials say several people were taken into custody last week in the Moses Lake area after a search warrant was executed. Police didn't release their names or the amount of heroin found. INET detectives determined the heroin was coming out of the Seattle area and traveled to Bellevue, where they teamed up with the East Side Narcotics Task Force. Undercover drug buys were conducted in the Seattle area, resulting in 5 arrests and the seizure of 4 ounces of heroin, a handgun, and nearly $7,000 in cash. The Grant County Health District is inviting residents to recognize World AIDS Day this Saturday. This year's theme is Working Together for an AIDS-Free Generation. Since 1982, 56 Grant County residents have been diagnosed with HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, and there are about 30 people living with HIV in Grant County today. District officials say one of their goals is to raise awareness that HIV and AIDS are still very real and that everyone between the ages of 13 and 64 should get tested. Even though there are treatments to help people with HIV live longer than ever before, AIDS was the cause of death for more than 17,000 U.S. residents in 2009. In 2010, more than 47,000 U.S. residents were newly diagnosed with HIV. For more information about World AIDS Day, visit cdc.gov. An Othello resident and a Moses Lake company were among those who got hit with hefty fines by the Washington Department of Ecology over the summer. Between July and September, Ecology issued $491,000 in penalties to 24 businesses and individuals. Among them was J.R. Simplot Company, which was fined $3,000 for failure to operate air pollution control equipment in 2011 as required by their permit. They were also dinged for not performing equipment testing in 2009. Odessa resident John Fink was meanwhile fined $2,000 for burning outside the designated burn hours in May. Burning was allowed in Adams County that day only between the hours of 2 p.m. and 5 p.m., while Fink was reportedly burning at 1:15 p.m. Others on the list received penalties as much as $395,000 for infractions including discharging oil and other pollutants into waterways, non-compliance with underground storage tank codes, and not completing mandatory testing on equipment. Warden agricultural students are set to receive a large check this Friday, thanks to the nominations of 2 area farmers. Here with the story is Ryan Lancaster.
The Warden School District is set to get a big check on Friday before the first at-home varsity basketball game of the season. The district was chosen to receive a $25,000 grant from the Monsanto Fund. This will go to support a 30-acre lab farm just north of town for use by high school agribusiness students. Vocational agriculture teacher Todd Kissler gave an overview of the project in August.
I thought it'd be a good opportunity for the kids to get back into learning how to manage the farm and do a budget and the books and watch, and harvest the crops. So we were able to, the school was able to lease a circle from the city. And like I said, we got a local contractor to donate all our corn seed and had a couple farmers plant it. And Charlie and I have been watching the water on it, and it's growing, and we'll be harvesting here in a couple months.
2 local farmers nominated the district for the Grow Rural Education Grant Program. School officials then submitted an application that was selected by a group of 26 prominent farmers from across the country. Without the grant and the support of the local community, school officials say the Lab Farm program wouldn't be possible. The check presentation is scheduled for 7:15 Friday night at Warden High School. For iFIBER News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting.
In other agricultural news, Washington's wheat, corn, and soybean shipments to Asia could be disrupted if talks don't resume between Longshore Union and grain terminal owners. Longshore workers say they don't want to strike grain terminals in the Northwest and want to continue contract talks with terminal owners beyond today's deadline. An International Longshore and Warehouse Union spokesman said Monday the union has proposed additional talks to the Pacific Northwest Grain Handlers Association, which represents owners of 6 grain terminals along the Columbia River and Puget Sound. There has still been no response from the terminal owners, but union members say they believe talks are not at an impasse. While it may be getting cold outside, Moses Lake youngsters have no excuse for sitting on the couch this winter. The city's Park and Recreation Department is offering 2 youth sports programs kicking off within the next week. Little Hoopsters starts this Saturday at Moses Lake High School from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And Mat Muscle Wrestling begins Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Moses Lake High School Wrestling Room. The cost for each activity is $35 per person. Parents can sign up their kids at the Moses Lake Parks and Recreation Office Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Quincy Valley Chamber of Commerce will introduce new board members and 2013 officers with a banquet this Saturday. The event starts at 6 p.m. in the Moose Lodge at 109 East Street Southeast, with entertainment provided by the Quincy Community Choir. Tickets can be purchased for $40 at the Quincy Valley Chamber of Commerce, located at 119 F Street Southeast. The State Department of Corrections is looking for more people with arrest warrants. Each of the people you see here have warrants for their arrest and are wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these individuals, the DOC asks you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day, or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be right back after these messages with the latest forecast from the iFIBER One Weather Center.